Welcome to Reviewing the Ring. WWE puts it out there, I give it a review, and I give it back to you. All right, before we get started, we have ourselves a new logo. I have become a big baller brand just like Titus has, and what we have here is the logo for the channel moving forward. Big shout out to Sabotage who made it happen. We lead off this week's Raw with Miz TV and his guest, Sheamus and Cesaro. And the only purpose of it was to get Dean Ambrose and the Hardy Boys out there in order to kick off Raw with their first match, which saw the Hardy Boys and Dean Ambrose going against Miz and Sheamus and Cesaro. Match wasn't bad. Ended Twist of Fate into the Swanton onto Miz, and the Hardy Boys and Dean Ambrose pick up the win to kick off Raw. Next, we have Elias Samson going up against, I'll make sure I get his name right, Zach Evans. Squash match, Samson gets the win, looks strong, keeps the momentum going. There you go. Moving along to the Bray versus Joe versus Balor triple threat match, which was one of the highlights of this week's Raw. All three put it out there on the line. We know we're going into Extreme Rules, so seeing these three in the ring together made perfect sense. You started out with the Bray and Joe teaming up against Balor and things like that. Of course, everything is eventually going to break down. The match ended up being really, really good overall. One of the highlights of the night, which there were not many highlights, that is for sure. Towards the end of the match, Finn Balor hits the coup de grace on Bray Wyatt. Joe is outside of the ring. He comes rushing in, takes up Balor, throws him into the turnbuckle, covers Bray for the win, 1, 2, 3, and Joe is the winner. Moving along to the Cruiserweight division, we have a match between Rich Swann and Noam Dar. Rich Swann won. Moving along. All right, coming to the Big Baller Brand portion of Raw, we have Titus O'Neil going up against Kalisto. After Kalisto defeated Apollo Crews last week, Titus gets in there and shows Apollo what the Big Baller Brand is all about. Quick match, Titus gets the win. He cheats, holds on to Kalisto's tights to get the win. That's that. Next up, we have the Alexa Bliss, Bayley, This Is Your Life segment of Raw, which was absolutely atrocious. I cannot believe this happened. I can't believe they let it run its due course. They should have cut this off early, as it was awful. Now, Alexa Bliss, to her credit, as good as she is with her character, she is the perfect foil for basically anybody who's going to challenge her for the title. The way she carries herself, acts, the way she is on the mic, the way she is standing on the side of the ring during a tag match, not even being involved. She has that Kevin Owens type of heel personality and pulls it off amazing. But for the purpose of This Is Your Life, yeah, Rock and Mankind pulled it off many, many moons ago. This was a complete failure. Moving on. And we return to the Cruiserweights for this week, which saw Austin Aries, Drew Gallagher going up against Neville and TJP. It was a fine match. The last Chancellery was put onto Neville, and he tapped in the middle of the ring this time. And no grabbing the ref, no disqualification, anything like that. Submission match at Extreme Rules. This match was fine. This brings us to the second main event of the night, which saw Seth Rollins go up against Roman Reigns. And what we ended Raw with was an absolute fantastic match between these two. We know that they're former Shield members, so you always sort of have that in the background no matter when they run into each other. Lots and lots of fantastic things were done in the match. Seth Rollins broke out the buckle bomb upon Roman Reigns. Coming into the end of the match, Rollins goes up to the top rope. He goes for a Phoenix Splash and misses it. He then goes around behind Roman, getting ready to set up for what I guess is going to be Rollins' new finisher. He's only used it a couple of times here in the past few weeks. He ends up missing it. Roman hits him with the spear. 1, 2, 3, clean. It's Roman Reigns. What do you got to do? It's the way he's booked. We just have to deal with it. All right, so that was Raw. And for the go-home show before Extreme Rules pay-per-view coming up this Sunday, it was not good at all. The two main events stand on their own as all 5 members of what is going to be the Fatal 5-Way in the pay-per-view. They can all go. They were fantastic. The matches were great. No complaints. The rest of it, there were just squash matches, and let's not even talk about Bayley. This Is Your Life. Overall, definitely a C minus type of show. And for being a go home show before a pay per view, it was quite shocking that it was this bad. But even though the show wasn't that good, I still feel that the pay per view is going to be good. Not too big of a fan of things on a pole match for us old timers who lived through the Monday Night Wars. Things on a pole type matches sort of have their own type of humor. And going into the women's match with a kendo stick on a pole match, I'm looking at it more from a comedy angle of what I know has happened in the past. The cage match, I have a feeling, can be fantastic. You have the Team Extreme into a cage, so all kinds of great things are possible in that match. And of course, the Fatal 5-Way is and should be one of those matches to where, a couple months later, you're on WWE Network, you're kind of bored, and you're like, that was a good match. I'd like to go back to that. I have a feeling that they're going to give them the time to shine. I'm looking at least a 45-minute match out of these five guys to come up with the number one contender for the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. So, main event aside, should be a good pay-per-view going into it. There are a couple of matches. The whole, I don't know why Sasha Banks is being involved with cruiserweights and showing up on 205 Live now. I guess this is basically, hey, let's give her something to do now. So we're going to just sort of shoehorn her in there. We'll see. I will be reviewing Extreme Rules next week. Hopefully it's a good one. As always, I'll try to do better, and I'll see you guys later.